and think about 2 build orders he wants to do on these next 2 maps.
Yeah, and he's got to know it's going to be 2 PvPs in a row. I mean, I would assume we see Super unless they have some kind of really other weird choice here to snipe him out, but...
So he was probably planning on coming out on one of these maps, not knowing which match it would be, because it seems like the idea here for CJ has kind of been heroes coming out last no matter who he's up against.
Yeah.
So Polarnight is the first map we'll see, and don't forget the next map will be our final map, which is the King Sejong Station. So this is a really stressful situation. He has to play the same matchup twice, 2 different maps. If he fails once, it's all over, and MVP will go on to face Jin Air. TAiLS looks solid in game 1. Really nice, crisp build. Probably expecting to hit Hero next. Let's see what he's got prepared for Polarnight. Map is up and loaded. Everything could end here for CJ. They've made it so far this round, you know, compared to the first round especially. They've come so far. They've worked so hard. In the end, will it matter? We're going to find out right now. Hero versus TAiLS on Polarnight.
LTA는 SK텔레콤.
Up here in the north on Polarnight in the yellow for CJ, their last hope, their last hero. It is Hero.
Down to the bottom of the map. It's TAiLS. You know, a lot of people joked about this guy with his timings in the beginning of his career because he did a lot of all-ins. That his opponents just got TAiLS in coin flip. You know, came up TAiLS, they lost. And the build we saw last game is like the perfect counterexample to this, where it's like you see everything, the timing is too good, and TAiLS just pushes through and wins it. It's not to say that Gumiho made the best response. There is a way to beat that strategy. It's definitely, you know, there. You know, we'd have to look back at it, see exactly what Gumiho built, you know, look more closely at his Marauder count and other resources he could have spent. Fast gate here for TAiLS. And a late gate. Hero, not late, but
very standard.
Economic gate, yeah, standard gate, not a 12 or an 11 or a 10, but a 13, the most standard.
Does the trick with the pylon as well, where he squeezes through as it is done building, so that probe gets back as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And after taking that quick gate, he's going to get both his gases up right away.
As will TAiLS here. Now, on this map, a lot of proxy locations, but oftentimes this game gets decided by one player walking across the map. There's so many different angles to attack from. At the natural, it's hard to defend. The natural is kind of far away from the ramp, not like the furthest we've ever seen, but you know, even walking from the main base to the natural is a little bit further. So we have seen players just die to, you know, timings with Blink Stalkers that lose their Nexus, for example, then have Immortals up at home to defend the counterattack. It's usually how Pro versus Pro goes on this map. We've seen a lot of them.
Yeah. Here's going to be the first scout out for both players here. They're going to send out the first probes, same exact timing. Only difference here is, as you guys see, one fewer probe, one slower probe there for TAiLS, but a quicker gate, which means quicker Cybercore, which could, of course, mean quicker tech. And there it is, Stargate right away.
I feel Phoenix's.
Do you sense the power? Sense the vibe of the Phoenix?
I just feel like that's what TAiLS would do. On the other hand, with the timing of the Stargate, it's rushed even before Warp Gate research, and with the faster gate, like you mentioned. Is he just not going to check?
He's wasting a lot of time here, not scouting the back. There he finally sees it, and now he identifies it.
Yeah, he even
like,
double-checked.
Yeah, about 5 seconds later than he could have known.
A few responses to this. Hero may add his own Stargate and counter the Phoenix, possible Phoenix play, but hard counter the Oracle play. Decides to go Twilight Council instead. DTs can be a great follow-up to this, but with the way the Blizzard decided to make the Oracle to have detection, it may just be for Blink, because with Blink you can chase Stargate units down a little bit faster and maybe do an aggressive counterattack.
Yeah, I mean, another thing to consider is that when you go for that fast of a Stargate, you're going to have a lot fewer gateway units, so after you hold off the Oracle attack, you can just go across the map and just have a bunch more gateway units there and just kill them with a blink.
Ooh, Void Ray comes out next. That's really smart. I really like that. This is how one of my PvPs were going at the beginning of the beta for Heart of the Swarm. Now, he's just going to ignore these Stalkers, May Force, and Overcharge. There's not enough energy, it looks like here. He's just going to do some economic damage and fly away. 4 probe kills.
4 probes, very, very key right now. Both players at pretty decently low probe counts here, so every probe you can get is very important here.
Void Rays wreck Stalkers, by the way. They destroy Stalkers. Like, I remember the first time that I played a PvP where I made a bunch of Void Rays. I remember just watching my opponent have like almost like a circle of Stalkers around my Void Rays. That's how many Stalkers he had. It just did not matter. The Void Rays just will kill them. Oh, you really look at this and you think like, well, what's the answer to Void Rays? Well, Stalkers do beat Void Rays, but you have to have a lot of them, and you have to make sure that you can fight outside of the Overcharge if possible. Has its own Twilight Council after seeing his opponent's Twilight, and he sees the Robo here, so I really don't think he's going to add DTs.
Yeah, I don't think it would be smart to go DTs. A very, very heavy investment, especially with Robo on the map. He's just going to add his own blink here.
It's going to be a game of chicken for a little while here to see who puts the Nexus down first. They're going to be at a very disadvantageous, vulnerable position. For Hero, if the Nexus is dropped for TAiLS first, if he tries to attack he will have to deal with that Void Ray. So he might only be able to get away with a poke. But he will have that faster blink, so he might be able to circumvent the army of TAiLS. He keeps checking. They're both checking. The Probe checks for Hero, and TAiLS keeps checking with the Oracle. And it's just going to be this way for a little bit longer. The Stalker count getting a little bit healthier here now for TAiLS. And there's enough minerals here to drop a Nexus for Hero. I feel like he certainly could do it. He just doesn't have enough information.
Yeah, he doesn't have a good idea of what's going on at the base of TAiLS. I mean, he's just now getting his first Observer out, which could, you know, slowly go all the way across the map. But besides that, he's not going to have any way to get information right now. He throws down the Nexus. He's going to start that Immortal as well. He's going to feel pretty safe back here, especially with the Overcharge and the Nexus and some Immortals here. But TAiLS, he has a very, very healthy number of Stalkers here. I'm not sure if the Pro got a view on that Void Ray, if he did get to see that. But
I don't think he saw the Void Ray. Ooh, he's checking around for pylons right now. I wonder if he's just going to commit to an attack and just clear out the pylons for any counterattacks. He has the money now. He's seen his opponent's Nexus. Does he drop his own Nexus and pressure, or does he commit to the attack? He's been making a lot of Stalkers, and ooh, 2 pylons go down.
And one's
so close. Uh-oh.
He's going to go for the attack here.
Now, if he bursts down the Nexus before it can actually do Overcharge, then he's going to be able to contain his opponent here. With that 1 Void Ray, that's so much extra damage. And he has 12 Stalkers to 5. 1 Immortal only right now.
Yeah, the second one is about to pop out here.
If he works in a Sentry, he could actually trap those units in the main base. Oracle comes over here, will actually be targeted down, does fall, but it looks like he's going to be able to get the Nexus. There's going to have to be a cancel.
Yep.
Waits till the last possible second. There's the cancel. And too much DPS here. He's not even confident to fight. Mothership Core gets targeted down, and that 1 Void Ray is such an issue.
It is such a huge issue. He's going to have to force field on this ramp, but he has the vision from the Void Ray. If he decides to blink up there, he definitely can. He's just going to back off for now, get another round of Stalkers in here. Actually, no, he's just going to drop his own Nexus. This is very smart. He's going to have Hero in his base for a long, long time.
He needs to span out these units, though, because Blink is ready for Hero, and if he just blinks his way down, that could be a big problem. Would like to save the Void Ray. It's his only high ground vision right now, and also just a great damage dealer here. And now don't forget that even though Hero is now stuck in his base, he has the better Immortal count, and it's going to stay that way for a while.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've talked about this so many times before. In PvP, if you can stabilize on 2 base and even try to get to 3 base, you can just sit back and defend with that the Mothership Core and the Overcharge, and just have the better, you know, the better defender's advantage here in PvP. Hero trying to come in here with 2 Stalkers, but he's probably going to lose them as both players do have Blink.
Yep. It's going to take a little while to actually finish them off, but I think he should get both. Oh, he needs to be paying attention. Hero, Guardian Shield goes up, and Hero's going to target down that Void Ray. Decides not to, in fact, and the Void Ray is not targeting either. Now finally starts to put that Overcharge on and target down these Stalkers. Good Blink Micro here from TAiLS, but it looks like this is going to go to Hero, this little fight here. That was just a lapse of judgment there for TAiLS for a second, not paying attention. And there's a lot more Stalkers over here. Now let's see how much Hero's actually paying attention. Oh, he's not, so he's going to also give away a Stalker there.
Yep, both players not really paying attention to their armies there for a little bit.
So I really want to see unit tab because I think the immortal count is still one up for Hero because I think this is the first one for TAiLS, and so he picked one off, but he wasn't able to get the second one. This move out across the map here without the immortal support, I don't know how much I like it. Nexus Cannon can be dropped here.
Yep, could definitely go for that. The Zealots are going to tank for this as well, and TAiLS is very confident right now to just blink forward and fight this.
Great targeting by those Stalkers, targeting the Stalkers at the back, even after they blink back, making sure he can finish them off. The immortal count here evening up slightly as TAiLS gets his first one out. The Zealots tanking so much damage here, and I feel like it might be best for Hero just to leave. In fact, targeting down the back Stalkers again. Great micro here by TAiLS. He's taking an even Stalker count. Actually, I think he's down in Stalkers with just some Zealot support and forcing these back and turning around only when he needs to. That was pretty fancy there. That was pretty swanky micro, dare I say it, man.
Some zesty micro there.
That was fabulous, man, what we just saw.
Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I
Covered it pretty well there.
Yeah. So, I mean...
So now we got to look at where both players are. I mean, we have the unit tab up right now. TAiLS has more Zealots, and he does actually have one extra Immortal there. So, funnily enough, Hero going down in the Immortal count, even though he did have the earlier Robotics, he is going to even it up right now.
He's looking ready.
He's got the better army, but you got to always remember that Mothership Core.
Yeah, how much energy does it have? I think it will have at least one Time Warp. It should by now. Never say never, though. Here we go. TAiLS is coming in. He's got a much better Stalker count now. Chases those Stalkers back, which means they don't have Blink, and the Zealots are starting to fight here. He targets down the Nexus. So much DPS here. Now ignoring that Nexus cannon. Zealots at the front to tank the 2 Immortal versus 2 Immortal, but Zealots tanking, man. It makes a huge difference.
Really does. Is able to pick off the Mothership Core, and now it looks like he's going to back off a bit here. The Stalkers blink forward for Hero, but so do they for TAiLS, and now he's going to pick off one Immortal here, but another one pops out. He's got to be really careful with that Mothership Core. The Photon Overcharge is doing a lot of damage. TAiLS actually losing this fight here.
Yeah, that's a fight he should not have committed to. You know, he had a lot of Zealots to tank, but with that Mothership Core, like you said, this is not a fight you can win. In fact, he feels so confident he's just going to walk across the map and counterattack. Nexus Cannon is still up for a little bit longer. TAiLS is warped and only had more attacking units over here, but he's got nowhere near enough to actually win the game. And that Mothership Core alone, even with full energy, is not going to turn this around. That's a desperation gateway right there if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, and now trying to blink in here and get some done, but there's enough Stalkers back there to hold it off, and Hero's got to be feeling very, very confident now. He could even just wait for the overcharge. He could just blink into the base here. He doesn't even need to worry about that. He's going to get this game now.
Yep. I mean, he's killed the Mothership Core. He's forced the overcharge at the natural, meaning no overcharge on the main. Even blinks on top of the Immortal now that he knows he's got it. Goodbye, Immortal. Dances the Stalkers at this point. And we are going to that final match, that ace match, ladies and gentlemen. The robotics will now be unpowered. Well, not quite. A little taste is piling over there, but I mean, he's trying to do a counterattack here, but even his little harassment does not have enough Stalkers to win the fight. And all of his probes in his main base are dying, and he will die with them. He's now waiting for his last Immortal pop out. GG! Hero brings us to the King Sejong Station, where he will likely face another Protoss player in Super.
Yep. It's going to be 2 PvPs in a row, probably. Very back and forth game there out of both of those players. At a lot of different times, TAiLS looked ahead. He took some engagements that he was not ahead in. Blinking forward, being a little bit too overconfident. Maybe if he just backed off, waited for the Nexus Cannon, got his warp-ins, and maybe an extra Immortal, he could have done a little bit better. But unfortunately, being a little bit overconfident, Hero able to take advantage of that, take the whole game.
Look at this result screen, man. It's just zigzag all the way. I love games like this. It's very back and forth. It's very rare to see this type of match in this format.